Here, what's up, chat? Happy Tuesday. What a unfortunate start to the day from a technical difficulty standpoint. Did a whole lot of troubleshooting, and it looks like my computer does not like the Discord app right now. So we were kind of doing things a little different on the back end. Hopefully it doesn't impede the user experience. I'm Gun, twitter.com/Gundacker. And today we have to combine the prop show and the DFS show for one big show. But hey, I actually think it's going to be more valuable because we're going to have more up-to-date information. And then, of course, we'll pretty much get to every prop because we got a lot more time on this show. So as we go game by game, we'll go team by team and see what's on the board. I'm joined today by these two men that are having quite the animated discussion. I'm gonna mute. I'm also gonna need you guys to let me know how unlevel the audio is because
ROI would be pretty good.
Yeah,
it's
we're doing that. I mean,
it's
it's a straight figure dollar.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
We in the building. We in the building.
We are in the building. That little. Right. So does your shirt have holes in it by design?
It's by design. It's got the alpha elite. It's a long sleeve fit. It's the fashion holes. We call them fashion holes.
Babe, I need you to get me some. How much did you pay for that? I think I got some clothes in the closet.
You got a joke, but it ain't fashionable. Come on, look at the fit. Bam, bam. Look at the fit. Bam.
Oh,
look at the fit. Stop playing with me.
Chat, like,
Stop playing with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Paying
$30,
extra.
$40.
Anyway, what a disaster technology can be sometimes. I don't know, man. So I get to my desk and stuff is going so slow, and I can't figure out what's happening. All my diagnostics are running great. I didn't update to Windows 11 because I figured I'd wait for that to stabilize. I was like, why is this going slow? Nothing is looking bad. And I hit up Josh, and Josh is the smartest man in the room. Raj just found that one out. He's like telling me all these things, we're troubleshooting, nothing's popping. And then I was going to shut down the computer for the third, fourth time, and I closed Discord first.
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
Shout out to Gun and Josh.
Shout out to
Raj, though.
Shout out to Gun.
Fish.
Yeah. But anyway, so I closed Discord, and I don't know, I noticed my computer was going like super fast. So for some reason, my computer does not like Discord. I don't know if there was an update while I was sleeping.
My phone doesn't have Discord right now.
Is it? Maybe there was. Danny said her phone is slow too. So I don't know. Maybe there was a Discord update that is making things slow. But I wasted 40 minutes of productivity, and we had to forego the prop show. But lucky for us, Josh said that he would be available today, so we make it a 3 live crew. So this is the first time these 3 minds are together. So on this show, chat, we're going to be going game by game. We're going to be talking about the DFS price points. But generally speaking, we're going to have more up-to-date news, probably a wider selection on the PrizePicks board, and we'll be able to react accordingly. So all the Josh goodness is still here. And, it's a late lock, so it pushed us a little closer to lock. I don't know who. I don't want to start with Raj. Raj, how you been, buddy? It's been a long time. Any ridiculous hot takes about a Super Bowl show that everyone loved except you and a bunch of racists?
Bro, hold up. Yeah, okay. Well, I definitely don't fall into that category. We're hating because I wasn't even hating. I thought it was a good show. I thought it was cool. They played hits. I just thought, clearly they're definitely aging up. They're a little stiff. Like 50 didn't have the energy like he used to. Snoop was doing his thing, Crip Walken doing his thing, gotta love. Mary J. Blige clearly can't really move like that anymore. It was cool. It felt like just like a concert. I felt like the stage setup could have been bigger. Like, somebody coming on a helicopter or something, it's the Super Bowl. Give me something big.
Literally this guy.
It was cool though. And like I said, they just weren't moving like they used to, or,
Yeah. Josh, man, you've been having an eventful day. Oh my God, but there's like a rainbow of super chats right now on the board here. Dameron's at war with
Bing
me.
bong.
Bing bong.
Shout out to Raj and Josh. F Gun, though. No replies, no love.
Let's
no
go,
fun.
Damron.
What do you mean F gun though? What
Let's
is
go,
gun?
Damron. I like that, Damron.
Bing
Damron for the
bong.
win. I like that,
For
Damron.
Raj in fashion. Let's get it today, fellas.
Okay, for Raj and Fashion. Brody,
Let's go.
$20 to get this man a shirt that doesn't have holes in it. How
Let's go,
impractical.
Brody knows. Brody knows.
Oh man. But no, Josh, last night we had another pretty decent night on Prize Picks. I swear I'm watching people fall out of love with DFS and fall into love with Prize Picks every day. Yesterday we had our core 5. I think 4 out of 5 hit. The one that was part of the core you guys put because of me, because I thought the Sumu would just crush 30 fantasy points, and I still think he had a chip in the chair, but then he fouled out, right? So like, who would have known?
He had a chance to get there, yeah.
But it was a good night. But how you doing, Josh? Doing all right today?
I'm good, fellas. Yeah, no, I mean he didn't have any turnovers. I mean he was on track. Yeah, just foul trouble, right? So that's what killed him. I think he finished 3 or 4 fantasy points back, but
yeah, he was about a steal away, and then would have been ultra profit. Like I profited. So what I did with all the core picks, the favorite picks, is that I literally get exposure to each 2x2 power play. Because how often you guys, I missed it by 1 on my power play, you don't get any money. I like to build a floor, a cash floor, if you will. So I made money last night, but obviously if the Sumo luck boxes into a steal, it probably turns into I don't know, $1,000 plus profit night, which would have been pretty nice. But I'll take profit. I'll take it. You excited for tonight's slate? We got a 240 plus total.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's our favorite team to attack. For DFS and Prize Picks, the Hornets, right?
Yeah, Hornets are definitely part of the process. Before we go forward, chat, appreciate you guys bearing with us today throughout the technical difficulties the last couple hours. Certainly never want to pull the stream off the rotation, and certainly even more frustrating to know that troubleshooting is troubleshooting, right? You got to go through the process, see what the problem is. But if I had known it was a Discord app thing, then maybe I could have fixed it in time. But it's fine. I think this show will actually end up being a better thing overall for us today. But shout out to Alex McCormick. He made it happen. Crispy in the chat. Mia Moore, my Valentine, in the chat. Fish fan. Oh, by the way, Raj, how's your hand holding up after last night?
My hands are great.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Valentine's Day.
Trying to see what the reference was. Valentine's Day. Oh,
yeah.
I just sent a couple people some flowers. We got the job done.
A couple of people.
Speaking of Valentine's Day, I saw that, and the Super Bowl in 2027 is going to be on Valentine's Day. I don't know what they're thinking and how that's going to work out, but
Valentine's Day Super Bowl.
There is gonna be some either the weekend breakups. I need that day, or babe, we ain't going out.
They better have some like baby making music at halftime show. Get my boy Usher, get my boy Neo.
John Legend.
They need some art. Yeah, they need that. They need some real. Yep. Some loving music.
Skimmer in the chat, Fish fan, Damron in the chat. I don't know. It's Damron. I'm not understanding this war. I know she tagged me in Discord yesterday. I don't know what the gimmick on this one is.
Damron ain't feeling the love. He just ain't feeling the love from you,
Where is the love? I don't know, man. What up, Tall? What up, Quinn? Nays? Thomas? Thomas says Luca boards. All right, we'll look into that. What up, Keith? Just in Sports, Justin Jennings, Obi-Wan, and Doug in the chat. Tribe Called Cuban. Shout out to all you guys.
Obi-Wan saying that I'm wearing a medium. No, it's a large, baby. We filling out a large. Come on now.
Extra schmedium.
Nah, definitely no schmediums over here.
Extra schmedium. Chat, this stream brought to you by rundfs.com. By the way, chat, the audio good? They mixed well? Because this is all on the fly. I just want to, as long as you guys can vibe with it, I can vibe with it. But yeah, I didn't get to master any mixing because we're using.
Yeah, and I have a new mic setup, so I have no idea if the volume level is good or not.
All right. Well, chat, let me know if
pretty loud and clear.
Some tweaking. No, you guys are definitely loud. I have this feeling that you guys might actually be louder than me, which is not a problem. But I also turned down y'all's mix a little bit, so I think it should be all right. But if you guys think it's like abnormally insufferable, let me know. All right. Obi-Wan says, beware of dudes who wear size medium.
Definitely ain't no medium here. Come on now.
You-
Hey, why we shaming medium dudes?
I mean,
Small,
yeah,
medium, large, XL.
yeah,
It's love all around.
ain't no shame, What up, Mike? What up? What up, EB? Yours in the chat. So we'll plug some more rundfs.com stuff later. But of course, you guys want to get into the Discord, you want to get into the spreadsheets, go to rundfs.com, click yourself VIP memberships, join the action. We are going to go game by game here and try and pull away some of our favorite fantasy plays, our favorite prize picks plays, and then get you out of here. It is a late lock tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, so extra 30 minutes to tinker those lineups and react accordingly. Figured we forego the scores from last night. 10-game slate got chaotic, and the Thunder and Knicks ended up being super optimal. But shout out to Josh Giddey. We were all over his assist prop. He cleared that in the first half. You love when that happens. But the underdog news to watch as of 3 p.m. Eastern. Shout out to Justin Fan. Giannis Antetokounmpo is probable. John Morant questionable. Jimmy Butler questionable. Marcus Smart, the Time Lord. Robert Williams questionable. Malcolm Brogdon and Bogdan Bogdanovic also questionable. Let's see, NBC's our NBA Roto World Depth Chart. Let's get that open, and then I guess I'll also get a stat news open, and we got everything. I love. You guys ain't writers or drawers, but like there's a feeling when you're getting ready to draw or paint, and you just have papers and stuff ready to research and dig in. That's why I got every tab open, ready to go. So I'm excited, man. I think we're gonna make some money tonight. Mike check is good. Appreciate that, Willie. You're the Towns Van Dent of DFS. I don't know who he's talking about. I also don't know who he's talking about. Bars. Can I Google this? Towns Van Dent. Towns Van Dent is okay. I'm guessing he's talking about you, Raj, from this guy's
Talking about
fit.
who's the guy?
I don't know, man. I'm looking at some black and white. I don't know. Very photogenic, not smiling though. Shout out to what a reference there, Nays. Nice. Poncho and left. All right. Cavs at the Hawks. Let's get it started. Project starting 5 for the Cavs. Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. Up against Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, Danilo Gallinari, Clint Capella. We got 220 total, 1-point spread. Favor the Atlanta Hawks. Cavs coming in with a medium down pace, and the Hawks are pace up. Good offensive efficiency, bad defensive efficiency. They will be without John Collins in this game, and Bogdan Bogdanovic coming in uncertain. What we do know is Darius Garland is in the cut for the Cavs here, has missed a couple of games in the last 5, and they've also added Karis LeVert. We've seen LeVert start. We've seen LeVert come off the bench. You wonder what the role is for him today. Do they try and get more LeVert and Garland on the court together? I think it's very possible. I do think pre-flop, the Cavs is going to be pretty hard to predict. The prices are starting to come down a little bit. And I think, with the prop hunt in mind, the Darius Garland assist prop is a curious thing for him, because I'm not sure where sites are going to start pricing. They got him at 8.5 assists, and that's above
one last game.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about, is like how much of an impact LeVert might have here. So I don't know. Number I wanted to talk about. By the way, it is Taco Tuesday, and they got Joel Embiid at 10.5 rebounds. That's a 2 rebound discount versus the initial projection. It's a tougher matchup, but just want to throw it out there if you like it. On the Hawks side, so they're without John Collins. That is pretty notable for a couple of reasons. We'll do some research here on the Hawks, and we'll run some usage checks, Kyle usage checks for Trae Young. Kyle usage checks. Let's go. Towns is from Texas, a GOAT songwriter. Okay, let's go. Raj is an okay songwriter.
I mean, I got a team. I feel like I'm pretty all right. Ain't no John Lennon yet, but we working on it.
Ain't no John Lennon, but if you were going to play a backup big from the Cavs, Love Is All You Need.
I don't mind that one. I like that one.
my EMAC would be proud. 39% assist rate for Trae Young in this split. John Collins off the court. We also got a 37% usage rate for Trae Young. Not much popping elsewhere, but the impact of John Collins' absence for Capella is intriguing to me. So Collins didn't play that last game, right? And this gave us Clint Capella at 31 minutes against Boston. Boston, a beefier matchup. And the reason why this is significant to me, we've talked about it on this stream a few times. When Collins was in the last couple of stretches with Capella, they had foregone Capella's minutes in the fourth quarter. And Capella closed against the Celtics. Is that a sign that would be something that they lean on now, or was that something that they just wanted some size against the Celtics? You can't really go small against them, because prior to that, we had seen Capella for several games not close in the fourth quarter. I think he's a free throw liability, so they use Collins and they use Okongwu. And in that last game, Okongwu did play some fourth quarter, but didn't close out. So maybe, just maybe, we get more minutes implied for Clint Capella at a reasonable price. And kind of like Boston, Cleveland's going to throw some bigs at you. Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, and the like. So maybe a softer price tag. You still wonder how often he's going to clear 30 fantasy points, taking 4-6 dunk attempts per game. But the rebounds should be there, and maybe maybe some rebounds or some softer fantasy props on PrizePicks and player prop sites might be something to look at. We had been on Capella first half stuff during the stretch where he got benched, in the fourth quarter, because they just divided his overall props by 2. But maybe not the case here. So I do think overall it's going to be a hard game to read. But we do love guards against the Cavs, and even though Darius Garland is been missing time in that one game during that stretch of 5 where he was out, he did come back and throw us 35 minutes on the 12th, so 3 days ago. So I feel like we can kind of put the rest any minutes restriction, unless they come out and suggest it. But it says he was a full participant in practice on Monday, 20 plus shot attempts in that Philly game, and we know he's likely going to have more than 1 assist. So 7,400 definitely could be a little too cheap for a guy like Darius Garland against one of the nuttier matchups in basketball, the Atlanta Hawks. Raj, I'll start with you, man. This game is going to be hard to predict for me pre-flop at these prices, but do you have any top end exposure aspirations here? Trae Young, about $1,000 cheaper on DraftKings than Fanduel.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to this game, I think with Cleveland side, with Karis LeVert there, I think kind of caps the upside of a guy like Garland. I think he's going to have, it's like either he scores 25 points and a couple assists, or he has like 17 points and 8 assists. I think it's going to be rarer with LeVert in this lineup to just see, a 25 and 10 game from him. When it comes to their bigs, Mobley, Allen, I think Mobley at 6,500 is intriguing. At a point, he was 8K alongside Jared Allen. So at 6,500, he definitely has that 40-point upside. So I don't mind that. Coming off of 2 down games. Jared Allen at 7,600. There's a little bit of meat on the bone there. He's going to play 35 minutes. So I think that's always intriguing. On the Atlanta side, I mean, you mentioned Capella. I mean, at his price, if he sees 30, 35 minutes, he dropped a 50 burger on he's averaging, 47 fantasy points against Cleveland in 2 games this year. At 5,300, I think he has massive upside. And I think his floor is 30, which you'll take at 53. Like, it won't kill you. So I think Capella might be a tier 2 guy for me just because of massive upside. And he had massive upside and the relatively high floor.
In the Cavs game where Darius Garland did start, they brought Karis LeVert off the bench. He did play 30 minutes off the bench. There was several bits of overlap with Darius Garland, so I guess it would be wise of us to maybe at least observe the small sample size between Garland and LeVert to kind of see how the numbers were gelling here, and if one over the other, or if one negatively impacted the others, like assist rate, especially Garland. Garland had a 28% assist percentage, while LeVert had 17. So that bodes well for Garland's season stuff. And like we said, on the season, he's averaging 8+, and PrizePicks priced him accordingly. So I maybe I don't feel like I'm getting a great deal here. I was thinking maybe one of these slates PrizePicks would adjust Darius Garland for LeVert, and maybe we attack the over. But looking at the board on PrizePicks for the Cavs and the Hawks here. Josh, anything standing out to you? We'll start on the
Yeah.
Cavs side.
Yeah.
Anything you like?
Well, I mean, if this keeps up this trend, I know it's a small sample size, but Garland did lead in shot attempts by far with LeVert in. He still had 23 shots, 6 3-point attempts. And we know that you can attack the Hawks with point guards. We saw DeJounte put up 32 points on him recently. Then Tatum came in and put in 38 points on him. So 19.5 points is still reasonable to me for Garland's point prop.
They
but-
moved that to 20.5.
They moved it. Okay,
Mhm.
well,
Wow.
it was at 19.5 this early this morning. So okay, that's a little more fringy. And like Raj said, he brought up a good point. Who knows what's gonna happen? Like it could be a game where LeVert kind of takes over and shooting, and Garland's more of the ball handler. Like who knows? They could switch those roles off. But on the other side, what I really like, and I think is just way too low, especially with Capella potentially getting all this run and more work, is Trae Young's assists prop at 8.5. He's just been dishing it out the last 5 or 6 games, and that should only go up with Capella being in there because majority of Capella's baskets are going to come from Trae Young's lobs or dishes down low. So I really like his 8.5 assists.
Yeah, Trae Young. I mean, that's just a low line for Trae Young, no matter who's in.
Yeah.
Man, I feel
Yeah.
bad for Chat. I don't know why he's doing that, but like you guys, every now and then hit the strobe light, and I feel so bad. Maybe if I bring that to the forefront, there's no
I think
really.
also the prop that I think we've been hitting quite a bit has been coming through is the Capella first half prop. That's been generous to us.
So the theory behind that for me was that he wasn't playing in the fourth quarter. So
Yeah.
projection model started working on a 22-minute projection, and then you cut that in half, and it's really not getting the bulk of those minutes in the second half. So I was benefiting from that in the first half. I still think it's pretty soft. Like his overall numbers are still going to be.
Yeah. It's at 15.5 his fantasy score prop first half. I don't hate.
Okay. Yeah, I like it better when it's at like 12 and 11.5. What was I doing? Oh, Trae Young with John Collins off the court, 39% assist rate. So I'm with you on this Trae Young assist prop, especially against a tougher defense, right? Mac says thoughts on who benefits if Bogdan doesn't go for Atlanta. So if you do lose Bogdan and you already do not have John Collins, certainly just bodes extra well for Trae Young. Kevin Huerter would probably pick up some shots here. And then Danilo Gallinari is pretty cheap on a DraftKings 4,500. So a couple extra shots there. And then they probably just distribute for these backups, Delon Rice, guys like that. So how serious is the Bogdan stuff? Bogdan questionable with left ankle soreness. So is DeLon Wright. And we've definitely seen Trae Young be able to play a deep allotment of minutes. So it just might be extra boost for Trae Young. What I do like at 9,300 on DraftKings, looking at my early projections, Trae Young does enter the top 5 in terms of fantasy points projected. And there, several big boy names right above him, but at a 36-minute projection, we might be able to move that 37-38. And 9-3 just might be a little too slow, right?
They have him at 44 fantasy points. I think you have him at 52.
Drop bars on Raj
Alright.
with no fright.
What
He
the-
can't catch my ass with that shirt so tight. No heart pumping out that station. Shirt don't allow no circulation.
Bruh.
Bars.
Bars.
Hey,
I feel like that
Raj,
should
what
be
do you
snapping.
think about LeVert's 3.5 assists? That's kind of tempting, right?
LeVert's absolutely tempting. I mean, it's just with him and Garland. I mean, 3.5. Yeah, because even if Garland had the biggest assist game, I think it's fine. I think a lot of those assists could go to Kevin Love too.
Right.
I mean, yeah, 3.5 is actually it's actually a really nice line. Definitely hit the over on that.
Yeah, especially with Mobley and Jared Allen down low to
Yeah.
get those assists.
I would be surprised. Yeah, he should average closer to 5 assists a game with this Cleveland team
Yeah.
with all those bigs. Yeah, I
I
can see
agree.
that. He's right in the second unit. That's a good call. This is why Josh is the rocket scientist, y'all.
The
No correlation, but-
neuroscientist, right?
Neuroscientist,
A little
yeah.
different.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
oh man, he played 31 games last day, increasing his minutes. Oh, Garland, yeah, Garland doesn't seem like he's going to be limited here. Obviously he could be, but I mean, he played decent run in his recent game. during this little stretch where he's missed a couple, right? Everyone hates Chris says, I got way too many Clippers in my lineups, but I'm gonna let it ride. Clippers are, I swear, every year Clippers are scrappy, man. No matter who the coach is, who the roster is, they just come out and be competitive. They're scrappy. Scrappy. Fat bars. All right. We got DJ Damron on the ones and twos. Spinning the greatest hits of the 80s, 90s, and today. Dallas Mavericks at the Miami Heat. Next game on the docket. Projects 35 for the Mavericks. Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell taking on Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy G, buckets, PJ Tucker, and Bam Adebayo. We got 209.5 total, 4.5 point spread for the home team going OT. Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler did find his name on the questionable list today. Up against Luka here. So let's go pull up Miami and get the 4-1-1. Jimmy Butler strained right shoulder and Caleb Martin Achilles are being listed as questionable for the game against the Mavericks. Says the shoulder injury could help explain why Butler was so quiet on Saturday. And if both Jimmy and Martin find themselves watching from the sidelines tomorrow, Max Strus could be headed for a spot start. Buckets manager should check back. So shout out to NBC Sports Edge for these awesome blurbs. And then this game is part of the first set of games at lock. So we should have this Jimmy Butler news, definitive news to make some decisions. I think it goes without saying if Jimmy Butler was out, Kyle Lowry is probably a little too cheap on both sides. And he might be too cheap straight up. And then, of course, we know Tyler Hero's out, so this would be a huge spot for like Adebayo and Kyle Lowry to maybe make a lot of lineups, and then of course you mentioned the boost for potentially Max Strus and some Gabe Vincent. OMS Raw Dog, I know Damron loves that. Appreciate that sub, man. Welcome to the channel. So the Heat could be a source of some fun clicks and some risky clicks from this far out. And if Jimmy Butler played sub 9K on both sides with no Tyler Hero, it's already in play. 40 plus fantasy points is a reasonable range of outcome with the threat of a triple double, especially without Tyler Hero's minutes there. Certainly bodes pretty well here. So we're going to play the news game on this one. Thank goodness that it's part of the first set of games. On the Mavericks side, Luka Doncic is 11.5K, 12K on DraftKings. He comes in with the highest projection on the slate for me right now. You know, just a point or so above Joel Embiid. Standard deviation could knock that back down. Joel Embiid doesn't draw the best matchup, but we've already seen him dominate in tough perceptual matchup. So not really too concerned about the matchup for him. And then we've also seen Luka go off in tougher matchups himself. And if this matchup did sit Jimmy Butler, it would be an even better matchup there. So Luka has a chance to be the highest raw fantasy scorer on the slate. And in games without Kristaps Porzingis thus far, and games that stay competitive, Luka's been live for 60 to 70 fantasy points. And on any size slate, 70 fantasy points, that dog will hunt. 76 against the Clippers, 75, 65. This 53 happened in just 28 minutes. That was a game he was in immense foul trouble. But man, you've seen a trend here: high minutes and high fantasy points in games that stay competitive. And right now, this game is projected to stay rather competitive. Raj, we're playing the Jimmy Butler spin the wheel, make a deal. Does he play? Does he not? We don't need to go too crazy to repeat the ranges of outcomes there, but I guess I'd say this: if Jimmy Butler was in, what would you do with the Heat? And if Jimmy Butler's out, would you tier one Kyle Lowry, knowing that Tyler Hero's out as well?
I mean, yeah, Kyle Lowry's going to give you 25 or 50, 6,400. Since he has that upside, I think you got to play him. I might tier 2 and tier 1 is a little strong. I just don't think he's that consistent. And Bam Adebayo, you know, if him out, Lowry and Bam Adebayo will be a popular combo. And I think Bam can get it done too.
Yeah, Bam's a little bit of a beast. Also has a propensity to drop some big assist numbers. Let's go pull up Miami here. Do a couple of splits here. First of all, I think Lowry is somebody I might play no matter what, just based on the absence of Tyler Hero. And Lowry has true triple-double potential. But if we get no Butler, I think Lowry has a chance to 9x that price point on either side. So we'll take Kyle Lowry. Man, I hate that For some reason, this browser's flickering, and I can't control it. So I definitely apologize, chat, if that's bugging you, if you got like sensitive. I don't know. I don't want to cause no seizures. Given Raj's hot takes, I guess it's possible. Bam Adebayo on the court with Lowry, Butler, Hero off the court. We've got a usage rate on Lowry at just 19.7%, but a 53% assist rate, over a 1.2 fantasy point per minute. It's only 70 minutes, so not a big chunk of sample size, but this team is, I guess, no, I can't really even do that because Lowry's new. But I guess we would just know that Kyle Lowry could be a good pure point guard. And we know he also fills the stat sheet, gets you some peripherals, especially those defensive peripherals over on Fanduel. A couple slates back, he gave me 4 steals, and that was twice in the last 4 games he divvied up 4 steals. So I do like that. Looking at this game from a PrizePicks point of view, looking at the Mavericks side, Luka Doncic has 8.5 assists. Josh, this is a line that has been trolling us because this assist rate without Porzingis is like 40+%. But lately he's also just been taking over offensively. We saw him go bananas against the Clippers. That seems to be a trend. 26, 33 shot attempts his last 2 games. Is Luka just one of those type of players, if we want to get some action on at this stage in his season, right, when people, I don't want to say peak, but when superstars become the top fantasy superstars, they're going to get priced correctly. Is he one of those, if we're going to bet on it, we just throw a blanket over everything and get the fantasy score or the PRA? Do you have any leans on the Mavericks lines, or are we just staying away? I feel like we're not going to get an inefficient pricing on any of these props for the Mavs because, projections have had time to adjust and compensate for it. No Porzingis, and maybe the Heat side give us some more love. But anything you like from this Heat and Mavericks game?
Yeah. So is this Dinwiddie's first game? Is he playing?
I don't have him on the injury report, and I got him in for 20 minutes. So yes. So.
Yeah, I want to see how that meshes with the unit. Maybe he runs a second unit and Brunson stays starting at the shooting guard position. Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna affect things, but yeah, I mean those assists he did not clear because it was the last 2 games were both against the Clippers, so it might just be the effect of the Clippers and their style of play and defense.
Mm-hmm.
So you could get on it. I'm not rushing to click on it, but that and his free throws made are always in play. He's at 5.5. The Heat are, I think, like bottom 10 and free throws allowed. I think they're ranked 20th in free throws allowed per game. So you could always get on that. But a lot of it hinges on Jimmy Butler's status. I mean, obviously I would like Lucas props more if Jimmy was out.
Yeah, whenever we're like prop hunting, I think you've heard me say this, chat's heard me say this. PrizePicks especially, it's kind of a parlay style. So usually I want the lower numbers and to have the least risk. So I feel a little bit more warm and fuzzy about 5.5 assists, or what I'm saying, low point total, something like that. Yesterday, I bit my tongue and went after that DeMar DeRozan point prop. It hit, but it's just like, man, that was a sweat until the third quarter. But yeah, on the Heat side, so we talked about Bam Adebayo, we talked about Kyle Lowry and the impact of Butler on or off the court. Well, I guess we at least know that Tyler Hero's not going to be in the game. So we know that those 6-man minutes, that type of production, not going to be there. What PrizePicks did offer us for the Heat, at least from this far out, is Bam Adebayo, 42.5 fantasy points, Kyle Lowry at 30 fantasy points, 25.5 PRA, and then we did not get any Butler action or anything like that. So Lowry and Bam Adebayo, I guess if you had that hunch one way or the other, could be interesting clicks here. I think the 10.5 rebounds for Adebayo is very intriguing to me. It's a number he has cleared in 4 of his last 5, and I believe that Washington game was one of those laugher blowouts that didn't really matter when it was all said and done. Let me see. Washington, 24 minutes. So that was like 10 to 12 less minutes than you would typically expect from Adebayo. Do you feel like Adebayo rebound is the best line to attack here if we wanted some exposure to the Heat props and prize picks?
Yeah, I would say that, or if you wanted to roll the dice on PJ Tucker 4.5 rebounds. If Butler's out, I could maybe get to that, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Chat, what do you guys got on this one? Damross says 190 more likes. I come out of retirement.
There
Maybe.
you go.
Maybe.
Guessing Luka's the highest score on the slate by a mile.
Not by a mile, but I do early on have him. I think there's a chance that somebody in that Minnesota game with that 240 plus total pops.
Yeah.
I think it could be a Cat, a LaMelo, somebody like that. I feel like will have
Yeah.
a true chance. But the volatility pre-flop, because both teams kind of have that, Terry Rozier could go off, Kelly Oubre could go off, D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards. It's gonna be a little harder to call pre-flop with Luka Doncic. He's going to be the forefront, the focus of the Mavs, and that's how they get it done. But I do think there's a strong chance. Like if you gave me Luka versus the field doesn't look that bad right now to lead the slate in fantasy points, especially if Jimmy was in, right? Mike says if Jimmy is in, does he take Luka and try to slow him down, or how we see that going? Man, Luka's just been able to thrive in tougher matchups, even the toughest of matchups. So I guess we could kind of stat Luka Doncic, DKP by game log versus Jimmy G Butler. Last 10 games. 44, 58, 41, 2.8. So he's only faced Butler 4 times and has never exceeded 60, but that's without context. They did play them earlier this season. And in that game, Luka played 36 minutes, 33 real points. So he didn't hold him back from scoring. 24 shot attempts there, just 5 assists, and the rebounds were down. And that was a game that did not feature Kristaps Porzingis. So, and the 10 of 12 from the free throw line to back up Josh's little hunch there. I can get behind that. Both teams are on vacation. My mom just flew to Hollywood, Florida for 10 days. Vanderbilt, yep. Giannis is going to outscore Luka. It's very possible, especially after some rest last night and the team kind of letting him down, right? I wanted to go to Jamaica. I'm an NBA player and want to go to Warm Jameson's Jamaica vacation. Did you just con me into doing like a commercial? What is that? What a weird written sentence. All right, let's move on to the next game here. Celtics at the 76ers. Projects 35 for the Celtics. Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and Robert Williams, the Time Lord, taking on Tyrese Maxey, Danny Green, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, James Harden will be out until after the All-Star break, while we have Marcus Morris and Robert Williams questionable on the Boston side. See if we can't get a little updated lean on which way those needles will sway. Marcus Smart is listed as questionable with an illness, non-Rona related, and Robert Williams is listed as questionable with right calf tightness. No strong leans one way or the other on those two. Robert Williams feels like a little bit more of an impact here because of what he's represented in the last couple of games. Big minutes, big fantasy point productions, and even some points to an extent here. And if he were not able to go today, you might get Al Horford playing some more big minutes in the front court. Jason Tatum might extend to the 4 a little bit, and then Grant Williams, Daniel Tice might make his full return here. So a couple of scenarios for the Celtics front court to shape out. Up against the 76ers, Joel Embiid, 11.6K on both Fanduel and DraftKings. This is a Celtics team that has really clamped down on opponents lately. But Joel Embiid, against double strong front court defense of Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, just dropped 40 real points. 14 of them came from the free throw line, 20 plus shot attempts. And, in that, I don't want to compare Jokic to it, but Jokic has also had a matchup here against the Celtics lately, and he was able to thrive. So I think Joel Embiid might get some of that public perception discount because of the Celtics being so great on defense as of late. And it's just one of those spots where, if you are going to get access to a talent as great as Joel Embiid, MVP of the league right now, if I get him at low ownership, I'm going to grab some access to it, and I do think he should be able to thrive just fine in just about any matchup so far. At least that's what he's shown us. And as long as James Harden is out, we're going to have an opportunity to get 30-40% usage rate Joel Embiid in the mix here. So obviously the matchup feels like it gets a little bit better if we start ruling out Marcus Smart and Robert Williams. But no matter which way you slice it, this game projects to be medium slow pace, medium low scoring, and there's going to be games with much more juicy and lucrative totals. But Joel Embiid has the chance to be the highest fantasy scorer on any slate, so I wouldn't rule him out. Sixers also without Seth Curry and Andre Drummond. Seth Curry, big game for the Nets yesterday. What we might expect here is more Maxey, more Danny Green, maybe some Furkan Korkmaz, and Shake Milton recently returning to the lineup here. But I think it's Maxey and I think it's Embiid. And I guess it's worth noting that Tyrese Maxey offers us one of the bigger discrepancies between the sites. Fanduel at 8,100 and 6,500 on DraftKings. So a much better bargain on DK if you are interested in Maxey shares today. Raj, from a DFS standpoint, what are you doing with the Celtics and the Sixers? I typically throw Brown and Tatum in the pool every slate and say I don't want both of them in the same lineup. And then Joel Embiid is Embiid. He's one of those I'll do what the field won't do. If he's gonna come in at 10% or less, I'll throw 30% on it and make the best of it. What are your thoughts on Celtics and the Sixers?
So if Time Lord doesn't play, I really like Jason Tatum here. I think he gets a really big bump, rebounding wise, gets a few extra peripherals. At 9-7, I think it's gonna be a 60 burger for him. So I really like him if Time Lord doesn't play. If Al Horford becomes chalk, I think that's a guy who I won't mind fading. All season, there's been times when he's chalk, he just doesn't come through and get you 25 fantasy points, especially against Joel Embiid. I could see him maybe getting a little bit of foul trouble against him or just being dominated by Embiid. So I'll probably fade the Al Horford chalk if it becomes chalky. On the Philly side, I'm going to play Embiid every slate. He's just, MVP candidate. I just matchup proof. He dropped 80 against Cleveland, and Cleveland's a way tougher matchup than Boston. So I think
first of all, shut your mouth. No, it's not. Secondly, proceed.
Okay. Just because you're saying Boston has, recently been really good for centers.
Boston's like the best defense in the league right now. What are you saying?
Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are harder to attack.
Evan Mobley is a tough defender. What? Okay.
You literally were the Jared Allen is a great defensive
fam.
player.
You came at me with Jaren Jackson how long ago and immediately ate those words. And
I'm just saying, Jared Allen.
It's apples and oranges, but the Celtics are the number one team defense in basketball right now. It's not even close. So I'm just saying, don't disrespect them. It's not. It's way better. They're not even a better, much less way better.
When it comes to that center position, I think the Cleveland bigs can handle Embiid better than the Boston bigs. So give me Embiid at 11-6.
Tell Jokic
I like him.
Okay.
All right. Shout out Jokic. And Maxey at 6,500. I probably don't get to in this spot. There's other guys in that range I like better. I think just Embiid for me on the Philly side.
Okay. I guess let's go PrizePicks shopping here and look at the 76er side. I don't think we're going to get massive numbers on Embiid, but if you do like Embiid, you got about an hour left to take advantage of this discount on his rebound prop. They got him at 10.5 rebounds. The initial projection was 12.5. You did get capped at it's a promotion, so you can't spend like 500 on this prop. But 10.5 rebounds is something that he's cleared in 4 of his last 5 games. So Embiid, that is. So if you do want to take advantage of that, it is Taco Tuesday. Do we know what the other taco is going to be, Josh? I didn't have time to look at their Discord today, but usually they vote on it. And Joel Embiid was the first one. So if you like some Joel Embiid numbers, especially those rebound numbers, you can get them at a discount right now. And then the assist prop, 4.5 assists for Joel Embiid. Oh, what the heart wants. He had 10 assists against Cleveland. Oh my gosh.
We were all on him in the OKC game, and he pushed it at 4, and then he goes the next game and puts up 10.
Yeah. Okay. So his assist rate on the season without Seth Curry was just like really, really, really high, and I thought 4.5 was way too low. Rerunning those numbers, Embiid has a 35% assist rate on the season with Seth Curry off the court. I guess we can, shake it down a little bit, throw Tobias Harris on the court, and throw Tyrese Maxey on the court. But yes, that is so ironic that I did catch Embiid at 4 assists the game prior, even though it started at 4 in the hook. So I did push that. But Embiid goes to a 31% assist rate when we put Tobias Maxey on the court, Curry off. So I would still be on, mathematically, I would still be on 4.5 assists for Embiid, especially if you want to put a little bit of resistance on the Celtics front court defense. So
Yeah.
I would be there I would have some exposure to 4.5 assists. But what's standing out for you on the board for PrizePicks on this game, Josh?
Yeah, I'm with you on that because that Cavs game, he was getting shut down or trapped by Mobley and Allen a lot in the paint and forcing him to kick it out. So the same thing can happen tonight against the Celtics. I mean, like you said, this is not an ideal game for fantasy, but I mean, it should be a great basketball game. I mean, it should be a preview of a playoff game. So, and it's one of the main TNT games, and I think it has one of the smallest spreads on the slate. So, it would be nice to get some exposure to it. I could get on the 4.5 assists for Embiid. And then for the Celtics, they juiced up Horford's props. They started at 5.5 rebounds, but now after the Robert Williams news, they bumped it up to 6.5. I believe his points half, and now it's at 9.5. So still on the fringe, but I mean his role should increase. And the 76ers are giving up the 5th most rebounds of power forwards. And they're giving up a lot of points to centers, like you pointed out.
Yeah, Embiid's I don't want to say defensively slacking, but a lot of times where you see a guy having to pick up offensive responsibility, we see opposing centers thrive, and we've seen some big games from opposing centers here. So if you gave me no Robert Williams, I would be forced into 6 to 5K Al Horford. No matter what Rod says, I would have to be there. Looking at these on-off court splits, we talked about Embiid here, but is there anybody else, like, would you have any interest in Max or Tobias Harris? Tobias Harris almost a fantasy point per minute in this split. I have Tobias Harris at 38 PrizePicks fantasy points. They are giving me Tobias Harris at 76ers at 34, so not a big gap here. Is this just like an Embiid show and move on? Yeah, no, lagging. Are we frozen? I don't know what happened to Discord chat. I'll see if I can fix that for them. But chat, what are we doing, man? Shout out to you guys. Nurkic had a 2020 versus the Celtics. So earlier this season, the Celtics were definitely during a rough patch, and it's not fair to isolate one game, right? You need a stretch of games, and the Celtics are literally the best defense. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened, guys. It went down, so I just closed it. The old turn it off and turn it back on. Gundacker, the technological specialist. Yeah, all right. Let me get caught up in chat because there's a whole bunch of people watching. Guys, make sure you guys are hitting that thumbs up. And if you're wondering, we won't shut up about PrizePicks. You've been here for the DFS stuff. Be sure to check out PrizePicks because PrizePicks has been a whole lot of fun. It's been a great way to simplify these slates, these bigger slates, and a great way to not have to sweat random third stringers dropping 40 fantasy points and simplify your sweat and know what you need. And you can really group up with your homies and come up with some of the sharpest cards. I've been making money off of League of Legends and CSGO. I was sitting there watching the Super Bowl, made $300 off of bunch of kids playing League of Legends that I've never watched, never heard of. I trust people giving me picks there. So, but if you guys want to add to your daily spend, diversify your daily spend and reward the research you're already doing, I think PrizePicks is an incredible medium for you guys to accomplish that. So go to PrizePicks.com, sign up if you use code Gundacker. They're gonna match your first deposit up to $100. You can click this link. I'm gonna drop it in chat. And yeah, it's a good way to support the stream, support the site, get a little something in return. And then, of course, we have the daily content for PrizePicks stuff, and we have the PrizePicks prop channel in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP Discord. So be sure you're doing that, and be sure you're hitting that thumbs up, man. We have goals, we have records to set. As a matter of fact, I don't know if today could be the day, but you feel like a late lock. Cats out of school, out of not having to get their young bloods out of school, maybe off work a little bit earlier. 327 viewers, that's the number to watch for. But 189 likes, there's enough people watching right now to set that record. Get your jersey into the rafters, and be great. So be great, chat. Hit that thumbs up, and then shout out to Damron. He's been dying for you guys to hit 200 likes so he can come back to his crippling gambling addiction. Shout out to you guys in the chat. Love Garland tonight. Have the free tacos hit at 100%. I don't actually, I'm not even sure if the one this morning hit, but no, they have a hit at 100%. So I don't necessarily jam the over on whatever they offer, but it's a decent clip, right? It's well above 50. I think it's closer to like 80-90%. OB96 Horford the Embiid stopper. Stop. Stop. Horford first half points lock. All right, keep an eye on that. Gunn is a step up from a GOAT. I don't know what's the step up from a. I don't know, man. Goats are pretty cool though. Hey Gunn, do you think we get baseball this year? Yeah, Nate, we'll get it. We'll get it. It's not gonna be on time, obviously, but there's too much money being lost by this Mexican standoff we got going on between them. Gunn, have you made your own bet tracker before? Some type of sheet to track the profits? So I actually can't sports bet, so I don't sports bet, but I do have the PrizePicks, right? Josh handles the prop detector, and he'll highlight and list our favorite props every day. And then at the end of the night, you can come back and look. And I've noticed, Josh, what you do, you highlight everything green that hits, and then red that doesn't hit. And I can't remember many nights where there was more red than green. Matter of fact, it's usually like 80 to 10, 20. But this is specifically props. I'm not touting money lines or plus line, all that stuff. And I refuse to like put content for something I'm not doing. And I'm on these PrizePicks and yeah. But no, I don't have a tracker for sports betting because I don't sports bet. I just play on PrizePicks. I wish I could sports bet. I've literally entertain the thought of moving out of the state of Texas just to have more access, because if you're winning on PrizePicks, man, you'd be crushing it on sports books by being able to have access to player props individually. We don't have that right now. Hopefully soon, though. Hopefully soon. Doug says, will Paul Millsap take Paul Reed's spot in the rotation? I don't know, but I don't think I would forecast that from this far out. But I do have I don't have that many minutes on Paul Reed anyway, but I guess with Andre Drummond out of the mix, he definitely could. I don't know. That'd be interesting to see what Doc does. Paul, not you, the other Paul. That's so stupid. Yoga, what do you think of Stone Cold coming back to wrestle Kevin Owens at WrestleMania? That would be crazy if that happened. I feel like it's not going to happen, but that'd be crazy. I did see rumors, but that would be crazy. You're a big teddy bear. Say you are a grizzly. The logo is a polar bear, guys. I get memed in the Discord. This logo, right there, supposed to be a polar bear. Not a polar bear, a panda bear. And then in the Discord they say it's a grizzly bear. I don't know, man. I don't think so. You like Embiid points or rebounds? I don't play Taco, only 25 max. So are you asking me his regular rebound prop line at 12.5? You saying you don't play Taco? I'm not understanding. First of all, why wouldn't you, right? I know they cap you, but if you like the line, take the discount and max out on it, and then, double down elsewhere. But I think if I was, I like the 10.5 rebounds. 12.5 is kind of pushing it, but 10.5 I can get behind. And then his points. I'd be the sucker for the assist. I'm a fan of math. I'm a fan of these usage rates and assist rates. I will literally die on 4.5 assists, Josh. still, yeah, I don't know. Towns is from Texas,
I'm
one
with
of the
you.
best states. Yep. Man, you keep bringing up Towns. His minutes have been back up since he's been back. Might be getting healthier. Who are we talking about? Shake Milton. Yeah, Shake Milton is been reinserted to the rotation. He's been out for quite a bit. Expecting to be the backup point guard. I guess he's cheap enough that if you had that bad knee, that feeling in your bad knee with the storm coming in, you might take a dart throw at him. But I don't think I'm going to do it from this far out. If Marcus Smart was out, Josh Raj, Derek White recently acquired, right? The Dennis Schroeder role, picking up those extra Schroeder, Josh Richardson minutes. 5,600 for Derek White. Would he be an option here? I'm getting nearly a 30 fantasy point projection as is. Obviously, if you play alongside Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, your usage can only go down, but minutes equal money, and that might be a lot of minutes against a 76ers team. Raj.
I mean, I think yeah, Derek White definitely in play. I mean, would I tier one him? Definitely not, just because you don't know, how he's going to kind of work with Jaylen Brown and Tatum when he's in that lineup. He's 5,600, so not the best price tag either for me. I prefer he was in the fours. Definitely has kind of that 30-point upside, but I just don't see him scoring more than 30, 33, which at 5,600 with that type of ceiling. I think that's a little problematic.
Yeah. Scott says, what do you think about LeVert's assist prop? I think we were flirting with the over on that one, feeling like he could be a 4 or 5 assists a game guy. What's that, 4.5? So I don't mind that. Damron says, like a BA, no replying koala to me. I think I read koalas just hit the endangered species list. So is that a threat? Grizzlies at the Pelicans. Next game on the docket. Projects 35 for the Grizzlies. Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Zaire Williams, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Stone Cold Steven Adams is going to give you one board. What? Taking on Devontae Graham, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, and Jonas Valanciunas. 228.5 for our total. 4.5 point spread in favor of the Memphis Grizzlies. J-Val, solid game last night against his former team, Toronto Raptors. Night 2 of a back-to-back. Catching these Grizzlies that have been really doggone good. And Ja Morant without Dylan Brooks has been also really doggone good. He is currently questionable with everything. This man, I swear, once a game, Ja Morant gets power bombed trying to dunk on somebody and leaves the game, ends up coming back. The Derrick Rose comps are so true that it scares me because this man plays with 2 speeds, man. Here he comes and there he goes. But currently questionable with a left ankle injury. He tweaked his ankle during Saturday's game, and while he was able to play through it, sounds like it might have swollen up on him over the past few days. So get another update following Tuesday's shoot around. So if Ja Morant can't go, we'd expect maybe Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson to carry the load, and guys like D'Anthony Melton, Tyus Jones get some extra guard minutes here. So kind of like the Jimmy Butler situation in Miami, this is pretty important because Ja Morant represents a lot. First of all, could represent up to like 30 real points per game and a couple assists to boot, and then 30 to 35 minutes to replace. So something to keep an eye on. The Pelicans have been putting together a stretch of solid games, and CJ McCollum is fitting right in. 20 plus real points in his first couple cracks at it, 23-36, and then we've seen him kind of coexist just fine with Brandon Ingram. I don't know that I'm okay with these price points yet. And I would also say that if you take Ja Morant out of this Grizzlies lineup, while they may suffer from a few less points, their defense gets that much stronger. This defense has been really, really good, and Ja Morant's really their only hole. So if you replace him with Tyus Jones, who's definitely a better defender, this becomes a much harder matchup, and that could be trouble for the Pelicans on night 2 of a back-to-back. Raj, what do you do with this game? Let's just assume Ja Morant's in. I don't like to be overly speculatory. If Ja Morant's in, do you have any interest, any strong infatuations with this one? 10K Morant versus 8K McCollum, essentially on both sides, 8K Ingram, and maybe J-Val has a little bit of meat on the bone, but this matchup has not been fruitful against the Grizzlies front court. Adams and Jaren Jackson getting it done. What stands out to you, if anything?
If anything stands out, obviously, if Ja Morant's not it, I think Desmond Bane becomes just kind of lock and load play here. I even like Desmond. I mean, Desmond Bain, even without him, I think is intriguing at 6,900.
Mhm.
Dropped 46 fantasy points against Charlotte. Obviously, Charlotte the premier matchup, but the Pelicans, I think they're fine too as a matchup. Um, a guy like Jaren Jackson Jr. at 7,200. He always has that 40, 50 point upside against the Pelicans. Again, I don't hate it. Definitely not tier one play, maybe a tier three. Pelican side, I think that's definitely the interesting side here. CJ McCollum, 8K coming off, back-to-back good games against San Antonio and Toronto, now against Memphis. It's going to be a run and gun game here. So at 8K, I think he has that 50-point upside. So I really like him. Ingram, he's a bit of a conundrum here, 8,200. If he gets you the peripherals, he definitely has that 50-point upside. If he doesn't, he can get you 25 real life points and get you 35 fantasy points, which you don't want. But I think he's someone you should have him play.
I I don't think this game would be as run and gun if Ja Morant is out. Ja Morant, I don't know. Let's do
That's
some.
true.
Let's see, Grizzlies defensive rating with Ja Morant this season. I'm gonna do a couple of queries on StatMuse. Shout out to StatMuse. Grizzlies have a defensive rating of 112 with Ja Morant this season, and then without Ja Morant, the Grizzlies have a defensive rating of 99, which would be the best in the NBA by a sizable margin. So, and then I guess at the same token, pace rating, Grizzlies pace without Ja Morant this season's 98.5, and then with Ja Morant, the pace rating goes to 99. So the pace didn't get impacted as much, but the defensive efficiency certainly is an upgrade when Ja Morant's not out there. So something to keep an eye on. I think my early reaction here is really just I might be off the game if Ja's in, but then again, I don't know, Ja definitely can be a top 3 scorer on the slate right now. If I look at my early projections, I got Ja Morant top 8, and like we said, we're gonna have Trae Young, we're gonna have LaMelo, we're gonna have guys like that. So maybe I'm not running to play Ja with the flat tire on him, but Desmond Bain and Jaren Jackson, if we got Ja Morant ruled out, I did a NBA Wowie query, Bain Triple J on Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks off. Jaren Jackson Jr. has a 33% usage rate, 1.4 fantasy point per minute in over 300 minutes, and Desmond Bain a 24% usage rate, a 21% assist rate, and over a fantasy point per minute. So those would be the two guys that stand out almost obviously here. Maybe the close to 7K tag on Bain's a little uncomfortable to click, but I think without Ja Morant, we could be trying to replace 20 to 30 real points. I think the immediate benefactor would be Desmond Bain here, but Jaren Jackson all the same. And then, of course, Jaren Jackson being such a defensive juggernaut, getting you those stocks, averaging over 3 stocks a game, that adds up pretty quickly on Fanduel and on PrizePicks. So let's open up the PrizePicks cards on the Grizzlies. By the way, the Larry, appreciate that sub, man. Welcome to the channel. Josh, did you have a chance to peruse the Grizzlies here?
Mhm.
They do not have Ja Morant listed, but they gave us Desmond Bain 19.5 real points, 31 fantasy points, and then Jaren Jackson is that 33 fantasy points. I mean, I might take that point blank straight up. I got him at about 34. If you give me a chance of no Ja Morant, I mean, these lines seem like they're attackable. Anything standing out to you?
Yeah, definitely. I was on Jaren Jackson, either fantasy point or you get on his real life points, just because that increase in usage. I mean, up to 30+% with Morant out. This is all with the assumption that Morant is going to be out, and if he is out, then you can get on Desmond Bain's 2.5 assists. Like you said, his assist percentage goes from 12 to like 20+% when Morant's out. And you can get on his point prop too, at 19.5. If Morant's out. But yeah, this is kind of like a wait and see game for me.
Still a couple queries here. I'm curious. Let's see. Jaren Jackson, DKP by game log let's go 10 games without Ja Morant. I think I might have typed that backwards, but 57, 16, 36, go 35 pluses. So maybe not as aggressive as I thought there was, but we know the story with Jaren Jackson, man. If he stays out of foul trouble, he definitely has a chip in the chair without Ja Morant to be a huge play. And I do like Desmond Bain to take 20 plus shot attempts potentially if Ja Morant was out. So yeah, something to watch on the Pelican side here. I'm not as sold on these cats as Raj is, but looking at the PrizePicks board on the Pelicans. Did you have any early leans on Pelicans, or is this a stay away? Like I said, if John Morant's out, like I said, the Grizzlies defense is better. Like it's just better.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about this before stream. Like the Pelicans seem like a better team now, but they're really hard to figure out. We need more sample size, more games. But I've been kind of liking this Brandon Ingram under his real life points of 21.5. If he continues this distributor role and McCollum eats up more usage, and like you said, if Morant's out, the Memphis defense tightens up, I could get on the under 21.5 for him. But it's still risky. Like I said, this Pelicans team, we just don't know right now. So I'm gonna wait on them.
Yeah, needs a little bit more sample size to feel great about it. But putting Brandon Ingram and McCollum on the court together, Ingram has just a 17% assist rate, 24% usage rate. McCollum 19%. It's pretty well spread out. But I don't think we have enough minutes and enough possession sample size to lean on anything as gospel. So I'm probably staying away. If John Morant was in at 9,500, I think that 25 plus real points could come his way. So maybe they give us a soft line on that. But let's move on to the next game. Chat, anything on this one? Keith says it's a Bane kind of night. No one cared who he was until he took off the Morant. That's stupid. How many fantasy points do we think Horford gets tonight? So I think Horford definitely has a lot of if this then that attached to him. And I think it's if Robert Williams is out, then that means that Horford could go from a 25-minute projection to 32, 34 minutes. And then, of course, a couple more peripherals, defensive rebounds, and maybe some blocks open up. So I think right now I'd plant 26-ish on him if we're talking FanDuel, 25 on DK. And if you take out Robert Williams, I could get that to 30 plus pretty evenly.
Don't worry about foul trouble though. I think his last 4 games, Embiid's put him in foul trouble, which is common, right?
Yeah, that is the Embiid way. I don't think Bogdan comes back before the break. Would make sense. Bogdanovich for the Hawks. So yeah, it's definitely viable. If so, then maybe we get a little bit more Kevin Huerter, a little bit more Trae Young, and I guess DeLon Wright could play and benefit, but he's also questionable, so something to keep an eye on. Y'all think LaMelo gonna play good with Pat Bev on him? Pat Beverly got y'all thinking he played good defense. Yeah. You see that clip of DeMar DeRozan doing fadeaway J on his face? Splash, he's too short.
I mean, that's DeMar DeRozan. He's doing that to a lot of people these days.
He is. No, maybe. I think with LaMelo, certainly a multifaceted talent that he doesn't have to keep on scoring, and I don't know if that Beverly strictly shadows him, but I haven't been running from Patrick Beverly defense, and I definitely haven't been running from either one of those teams lately. And to have a 240 plus total, it's gonna be hard to look away from a guy like LaMelo that projects as the highest usage guy with a chance to be top 2 in minutes played. So certainly not running from him. Ezra, who are your top chalks of the day? I don't have that. My top chalks. Top
chalk plays of the day.
I don't know. Ezra, I don't know what that means. Who are my top plays that are chalk? Is that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he means. Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all top plays wind up chalk.
Yeah, maybe. Sherman. Hey, Gunn, is there a way to pause or run DFS subscription when the All-Star break comes around to play NBA? No, but I'll add 5 days to anyone that has a sub. I do that every year. I know what it's like. The 2 most common not questions, but lately I've been having to explain over and over. Like there's a lot of people that want auto renew like for their subs, and I'm always like, nah, I don't believe in auto renew. It's just like if you like it, you log back in, re-up, and for DFS, like sometimes you need a couple of days off. So there is no auto renew at rundfs.com. There never has been, probably never will be. We'll see. Might be like an opt-in feature someday, but I don't auto renew, and I always take care of people. So yeah, for the All-Star break, anyone that gets a VIP pass, I'll probably add 4 or 5 days on it to compensate for the days missed. I do plan on getting some Daytona action. We'll see. I don't know, but so my birthday's on Saturday, and Danny's doing some secret squirrel stuff. So I don't know what's happening. So I don't what I'm saying. Like I want to commit to covering Daytona, but obviously, if they have plans that takes me out of town or something, then I won't. But we'll see. What about Adams PRA? The fakest assists guy out there, Steven Adams. Man, he's a huge rebounder too, though. I don't know. I didn't have any Steven Adams stuff lined up. Josh, did you have any intentions on getting to Adams exposure tonight?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, same. 19.5 PRA. Definitely really low. Like he has had 30 plus in 3 of his last 4. Definitely really low. Comparative to his recent output. So I wouldn't talk you off of it. Maybe it's something we dive a little bit deeper on. Yeah. Ryan says Bog and Wright went through shoot around this morning. Always a good sign. Definitely a good sign. Buddy Hield on 6K of Fanduel too easy. I'm with that. All right, let's move on to the next game here. Indiana Pacers at the Milwaukee Bucks. Project starting 5 for the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Lance Stevenson, O'Shea Brissett, Goga Batadze taking on Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Bobby Portis. We're at 237 total. A 14-point spread in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks. Where have I heard this before? Wait a minute. Last night, the Bucks without Giannis fall dramatically even to the Portland Trailblazers. Now they're going to run it back, but they do have a fresh-legged MVP player in Giannis Antetokounmpo. You don't expect this to happen twice, but maybe Lance will make them dance. 237 total is a lot of implied real points, and then you kind of counter in that the Bucks are on night 2 of a back-to-back, and Giannis being the freshest legs. Pre-flop in my projections, Giannis ended up 3rd behind Embiid and Doncic, but it's all a matter of 1.5, 2 fantasy points. So standard deviation is really just throw a dart and which guy pops here. And it certainly feels like Giannis should be outclassing anyone in front of him today, should outsize everyone in front of him. And we know guys like Goga Batadze can get in foul trouble really doggone quickly. So it looks like a great spot for Giannis. I think the question mark is, does the game stay competitive? I don't know that matters. We've certainly seen Giannis stat pad at home when given the opportunity. So I'm definitely going to prepare to have a decent chunk of Giannis Antetokounmpo exposure tonight where I can get it. Obviously, I'm not going to be like 40-50%, but probably a 1 in 4 levels of exposure here. And there are some fun, unique, interesting run backs here for the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton at 8,500. I need 40 plus fantasy points. Feel like I'm getting a strong deal here. He's had a couple of big assist games in his last outing. He was really popping off. And every time Halliburton has a good quarter, the Kings Twitter blows up. Raj, what are you doing with this game? Do you have expectations to play Giannis? And then it hasn't happened yet, but I don't know. I wouldn't be stunned if a Drew or Middleton sat this one out, but that would be speculation from this far out. Do you think Giannis can be somebody you get to pretty often?
I think a fresh leg Giannis is always intriguing here. 11-8. I'm probably still. I think I'm leaning Luka and Embiid over Giannis in the spot just because of the large spread, and this game could be over in 3 quarters. So he definitely might.
I feel like that's got to be one of the laziest played out Giannis approaches, though. Like, how often is he going bananas in these big spread games? Like it's 70 fantasy points is he does it in 3 quarters all the time, and so many times they put him back out there to stat pad that triple double or something like that. So like I don't love.
So I hear you. I mean, I just think also. Like in Dallas with Luka, it's literally just him going to do everything. Doesn't have Middleton and a Drew Holiday.
I mean, that's a more fair justification.
And same with Embiid too. With James Harden not yet going to be playing with them. I mean, Maxi's his second option, and Maxi's again. I don't think is the caliber of a Drew Middleton. So it's just Giannis has to share the ball with more guys. For why he's ranked number 3rd. And I think if Giannis plays, I definitely don't get to any Middleton or Drew Holiday today at their prices too. Again, it's just their upside just gets a lot more limited. And on the Indiana side, I mean, that's the intrigue one. Halliburton at $8,500. Brogdon's questionable. If Brogdon plays, definitely no Halliburton at $8,500. If Brogdon sits, I guess it's viable. He's passed through games 40, 41 minutes is a He's going to get all the minutes, 50, 40, 57. I mean, he has 50-point upside. It's clearly shown it. So if Brogdon sits, I mean, I think Halliburton might be a tier 2 guy for me. I think he's going to play all the minutes. He's going to have all the usage he needs. So I like that. Other than that, a guy like Brissett, back-to-back big games. Right back to it. Yeah, again, Brissett at 5,400. He's playing all 37, 38 minutes. You give any guy 5,400, 38 minutes, and with a skill set like Brissett, I mean, I like it. He has 40-point upside here. I think this game might stay closer for a little longer than people think. If Halliburton, Brissett, and Buddy Hield do their thing, I think this game could be a little closer than people expect.
Malcolm Brogdon, right Achilles soreness, listed as questionable. So when a guy like Brogdon's missed the amount of time that he's missed with an injury designation such as Achilles, this close to the All-Star break, man, it just feels like, why wouldn't you take that extended reprieval? So I would probably lean closer to out than in, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, Buddy Hield, the minutes on Buddy Hield from this projection is pretty high, and we know the path to staying competitive with the Bucks is what? Shooting threes, man. He's as Damra would say, he would have to do what Raj did in college and bang some threes.
Yeah.
Come on, let's be times that by 3. Come on now. We ain't Steph Curry. We were hitting we seen that picture of Steph. No threes in this house.
The problem with Buddy Hield, though, is he's not going to be an efficient 3-point shooter. Shot 1 for 13 against Minnesota, 4 for 10 against Cleveland, but double-digit 3-point attempts. I mean, it's the no floor, high ceiling range of outcome. So Buddy Hield would, if you think this game stays close, I think Buddy Hield would probably be one of the guys to make it happen. So not a fun click, though. Not a fun click, but you might expect him to have to get to 20-plus real points, and many of them being from behind the arc. Indiana
might sneakily be I might like playing 3 from the most. I think the minutes for Halliburton, Hield, and Brissett is just insane.
Yeah.
And the pricing, this will have all the upside.
Yeah, I'm with you on Brissett, man. Like the minutes, like his PRA is only 20.5. I mean, that just seems too low.
Yeah.
That's too low for a guy playing the minutes, like you're saying. I know it's the Bucks front court, but minutes, I mean, equal, like, fill in the stat line. So I'm with you on that for sure.
I like that.
And what's up with these Buddy Hield fake rebounding games? Since he's joined the team,
I feel like he's just out there for that many minutes. Rebounds kind of falling to you.
His first 2 games of the Pacers, he said 8 and 9 rebounds. I don't know what's Yeah, I mean, even his PRA prop is intriguing, 23.5. If you think he gets 20 real life points in the spot, 23.5 is fine. What's Halliburton's props? We'll bring those up. They're probably kind of high. So they juiced his assist to 8.5. It was at 6.5.
Oh yeah, there was. But he was fancy. Scored 37.
Yeah.
So I think that's juice. He cleared that 4 out of 5. And I think if this game stays close, it's going to be behind those 2 guys. So I think it'd be interesting if you want to do a kind of a ticket where you put 2 or 3 of those Indiana guys and bring it back with a.
So, as my boy Brody says, Halliburton PRA is a lock. 27.5 PRA. If we assume Brogdon's still out
now, but yeah.
And Brogdon's not out for sure. I'm just saying, if you assume one way or the other, in a pace-up spot, Milwaukee Bucks going up and down the court, positive game script where you're likely to play from behind, you got to push the pace a little bit more, a couple extra possessions squeezed out. 27.5 PRA certainly feels a little bit low, especially if Buddy Hield's gonna go Raj on them 3 balls. So, do you like these props for the Kings, Josh?
I don't know about 3s, but sometimes 5s can become 8, 9 with a couple shots in you. Throwing that out there.
Yeah. No, I'm with it with the minutes. We just gotta hope it stays close somewhat till the fourth quarter. But Brissett's probably my favorite, 20.5, and then his PRA. Buddy Hield's 3-point made, like you're saying, is intriguing. It's at 3. I wish it was at 2.5 because if he gets the 3, he'll push. But yeah, he, like you said, he's taken 6 and then 10 threes the last 2 games. So it's risky. But yeah, maybe Halliburton's PRA and Brissett's PRA. And then on the other side for the Bucks, yeah, like Raj said, run it back. If you're gonna do this kind of game stack with this card, run it back with Giannis fantasy points. You could get on his free throws because, like you said, Goga tends to foul at a high rate. So his 7.5 free throws tends to come through. If you want to if you're worried about the game not staying close and you still want a Giannis exposure.
Like that.
Raj needs some whiskey glasses if he's going to make it through. I'm gonna need some whiskey. Is it what's that song? Is it whiskey glasses? Whiskey.
I have no clue.
It's
I know Tennessee Whiskey's a song.
Okay, buddy.
Whiskey Tennessee.
Listen. I'm sure where my country folk at in the chat. We need some whiskey glasses, right? Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, let's look at some of these minute rotations here. A couple of new look players on the Pacers team. I've been seeing the name Jalen Smith in chat a little bit. Put some context to that. He started the second half of that game against the T-Wolves. Didn't start the first half and ultimately ended up playing 23 minutes, starting the second half and closing that game. So is that a on-the-fly adjustment? Do we expect that to be more of the same today? That looks like that came at the expense of man, I don't know who let's see. Chris Duarte got injured, it looks like 4 minutes into that game. And then they had to stretch everybody out one leg up. And yeah, I guess that's something that benefited Jalen Smith. Immediately after Duarte got injured, Lance Stevenson came in. He logged 31 minutes. So if we got Duarte out again, chat's asked about Lance Stevenson quite a bit. He's pretty cheap on DK, 4K. Chipping a chair for high 20s, maybe knocking a door 30 plus in a pace up spot. And then, like Josh says, O'Shea Brissett, pretty involved for his minutes as well. Big discounts on DraftKings, looks like, for several players. A $1,400 discount on O'Shea Brissett. Lance Stevenson, an $1,100 discount from on DK from Fanduel. And then everyone else kind of par for the course here. So, Jalen Smith is drastically cheaper on DraftKings versus FanDuel as well. 3,900 on DK, 57 on FanDuel. So this team in this spot becomes a little bit different depending on which site that you're playing on, right? Cody Jinx Goat, let's go. He crushed it in that time too. Yeah, Jalen Smith in the sample size we've had so far, especially looking at his Phoenix stuff, has been pretty good per minute. Let's move on to the next game here. Timberwolves hosting the Charlotte Hornets. Project 35 for the Hornets. LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, Miles Bridges, Mason Plumlee taking on Patrick Beverly, D'Angelo Russell crossing over with Anthony Edwards, Jared Vanderbilt, and Karl Anthony Towns, the big cat. Ernie Ladd, we got a 244 total. 244 point total of 5.5 point spread in favor of the home team. The home team Minnesota Timberwolves. This game should be the source of a lot of interest. It feels like, to me, the spot that I was in trying to get the Spurs and Bulls right pre-flop. But this game does have a lot of volatility in it because of how many high usage, high minute guys are involved. D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, Cat on the T-Wolves side, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges to an extent, LaMelo Ball. So there's some ranges of outcomes where you're going to get a dud from one of those big three, a spike game from one of those big three, a couple average games from all three. There's going to be several which ways this cookie can crumble. But I think my my initial approach is going to be try to podium those guys, rank them, who I think is most likely to succeed, and go from there. And then just let those ownerships reflect appropriately in a crunch. And that's kind of a scumbaggy way to do it. But this game would be a nightmare for me pre-flop if I had to just bet on one outcome. If I had to do that, it would probably be that LaMelo Ball has his hand in a lot of success for the Hornets if they're going to meet their implied total. His usage rate should lead the team, and his minutes would be up there as well. I've got Miles Bridges as the most minutes on this team pre-flop right now, and then Terry Rozier in these couple of games now without Gordon Hayward has gone absolutely off the rails with a couple 60 bombs. He was part of that 400 plus point VIP optimal that ended up bringing home 100K, 66 and a half fantasy points in the last 2 games. And while he is putting up a lot of real points, he's backing it up with some peripherals as well, and a couple of matchups that are a little bit lower pace. This one should be a little bit more up in pace. Matter of fact, a lot of bit up in pace. Not many teams running the pace that the Hornets do run, but the Timberwolves have found themselves in the pace rankings as a top 3 team in pace. So many implied possessions here, and there's a lot to love. Raj, I guess quickly rank your top 3 for, Hornets from guys that you want to have exposure to, and then do the same for the T-Wolves, and then we'll jump into the prop side.
I think if I'm gonna rank them for the Hornets and T-Wolves, I mean, I put T-Wolves. Am I cheating? It's just Towns, Edwards, Russell. I just think they're gonna get all the usage, all the minutes, so I like that. Charlotte, probably LaMelo 1, Bridges 2. I think the third one is interesting. I think Rozier seems like the easy way out, coming off a back-to-back 60-point games. I don't know how long he's going to keep that, but Rozier versus Oubre, I think, is interesting. Points per dollar.
Rozier versus points per dollar, right? That changes a lot.
Yeah.
And then just how much is too much, right? I think we can get some 3v3 lineups, but probably not because of the price point. So I guess 2v2s is a good starting point.
Yeah, I think two is optimal. 3, you're just asking so much. Like Minnesota, if you play the big 3 of those guys, you need Edwards. Like in a tournament, you need a Cat 60 bomb and Edwards 50, and probably a Russell close pushing 50 too. Even in Charlotte, you need a 50, at least a 50 from LaMelo, preferably a 60 bomb to win something today, and you need a 50 from Rozier and a 50 from Bridges.
Yeah, but at 244 total, not out of the
Yeah.
question here. So we'll put LaMelo, Rozier on the court together, and we'll take off Gordon Hayward for the time being. Do love the thought of Kelly Oubre as well. Maybe I'd be a little more soured on the front court for the Hornets here. Montrezl Harrell, Plumlee, Bridges, Jared Vanderbilt, solid defender if he crosses up with a couple of those cats. But LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, 22.8% usage rate on Rozier this season in this split. LaMelo Ball, 27%. This is with Hayward off. And LaMelo Ball at a 1.3 fantasy point per minute clip here. So definitely looks like a decent spot. Josh, we look at the PrizePicks boards on the Hornets. LaMelo Ball's at 36.5 PRA. That's seems modest for this implied total. And then other tertiary numbers on the board. We got 17.5 real points for Kelly Oubre, and then Terry Rozier. One of the more polarizing topics today is he going to continue this awesome streak? Shout out to somebody in chat. I've seen it a couple times now. Has asked that he has a 3.5 3-point prop. And you think at 240 total, if they're implied for 120, that's interesting. And then a 37.5 fantasy score, which is borderline half of his last 2 games. Anything standing out to you on the PrizePicks side of this game, starting with the Hornets?
Well, so I've noticed PrizePicks has taken away some of our go-to assist props this season. They took away Rozier's assist prop and Tatum's assist prop. I don't know if they're going to put them back, but maybe it's just because they've been clearing them and they don't know what number to put them at, and they're too afraid to put whatever the sports book have them at. I would really like Rozier's assist prop in this matchup because the T-Wolves do give up a lot of assists to shooting guards, and I feel like in this fast-paced matchup, it would set up more fast breaks for him and assists opportunities. With that said, it's hard, like what Roger's saying with comparing Oubre and Rozier. I feel like if Oubre is shooting well, that's going to hurt Rozier scoring, and vice versa between the two. So it really depends on how they're doing. The T-Wolves do really struggle against small forwards, and I believe their first matchup, the Hornets blew them out. It was like 130 something to 115. Oubre scored like 27 real life points. He went off that game. He had a lot of threes that game. So it's just risky with that, right? It's like a dart throw. And same with the Timberwolves. Like you said, choosing between those 3, who's going to go off. So I might just spread out my exposure on a few different cards and hope that I get to the guy that goes off out of those three, right on one of the cards at least.
You're
So
gonna MME
yeah,
on
I mean, it's just hard. It's a hard read, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna be high scoring, but the chances that all three go exceed their props, I mean,
yeah.
it's got to be pretty low in this.
Yeah, no,
in this.
I 100% get it, especially for DFS. Looking at the rotations in that last game against the Grizzlies, we talked about it before we went live. Montrezl Harrell actually played alongside Mason Plumlee to close the game. A closing lineup that featured LaMelo, Mason Plumlee, Montrezl Harrell, and Terry Rozier. Bridges did not really play in that fourth quarter. And PJ Washington, was that the game he got ejected, or was that prior to, or just
Did he get injured?
Injured, okay. And then that was the second night of action for Montrezl Harrell, and then against the Pistons, we saw Montrezl Harrell he played directly opposite Mason Plumlee the game prior. So I guess at least we know that the Hornets wouldn't be totally against Montrezl Harrell on the court with Mason Plumlee, which might make Montrezl Harrell's minutes a little bit deeper. And I got him at 29 minutes. So if he's going to get the most overlap on the team, or the least overlap on the team, rather, of a Rozier and a Oubre, and pick up some of those high energy hustle stats, I'm getting about a 30+ fantasy point projection on him. Maybe that's a little too strong. Montrezl Harrell's coming in at 6.5 rebounds, 13.5 points, 22.5 PRA. Just some lines I'm going to be cognitive of, because I might get behind those. And then moving to the T-Wolves side, much like the Hornets, hard to predict pre-flop because of their big three. Seems like everyone, if we had to podium, it's like easily Cat first. Do you think Cat's going to be an anchor in any of your action tonight, or are you also?
Yeah, probably his fantasy score, because right now you have him projected for 55 fantasy points, and they have him at 46, so it's almost a 10-point buffer. And you kind of get all of his, his assist, rebounds, so encompassing that, and hopefully some blocks. So probably his fantasy score is my favorite. I wish they had his assist prop, but yeah, it's not on there.
All right, real quick, last game on the docket, then we gotta get out of here. I didn't realize we're this far over. We're losing viewers to the big boys. Clippers at the Suns. Before I do that, take a pause for the cause. Right after the stream, I'm gonna be in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP Discord. You guys can get into that by going to RunDFS.com. Clicking VIP memberships, find something right for you. Like I said, I'm going to try add 5 days to everyone. 4 or 5 days. I got to look at it for the All-Star break, so you guys aren't losing out on that, so don't worry about that. And then if you guys aren't on PrizePicks, make sure you're on PrizePicks. Sign up using code GUNDACKER. They'll double your first deposit up to $100. We got tons of prop content in the spreadsheet, in the Discord, and then, of course, we'll be talking PrizePicks plays in the pre-lock voice chat as well. So go be part of that. We'd love to have you. And finally, the last game on the docket, Clippers at the Suns. Reggie Jackson, Terrence Mann, Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, Ivica Zubac up against Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, and DeAndre Ayton. 223.5 total, 13 point spread in favor of the home team. Phoenix Suns, Clippers, night 2 of a back-to-back life without Norman Powell. Last night wasn't so bad, unfortunately, for Josh. Reggie Jackson and Terrence Mann able to come in and compete. Reggie Jackson, 40+ fantasy points in back-to-back games now. And then Mann
He's on a heater. He's on a heater, yeah.
Terrence Mann and Trey Mann had a decent chunk of real points here. And Terrence Mann, we've known, can stuff the stat sheet. So at 4,600 in an up-pace matchup, I think I might be going back to the well here. Chris Paul, 9,600 on FanDuel, back on the south side of 9K on DraftKings. I'm looking for 40+ fantasy points. If the Clippers can continue to do what they're doing and surprisingly keep games close with and without Norman Powell and some of the other pieces that they've recently had to lose, trade away, or put on the injured list, the Suns could get some big minutes out of Chris Paul yet again. Cameron Payne still listed as out. And then Devin Booker is on the south side of 9K as well. 8,400 on DK. That's a price point where I'd accept 40+ fantasy points. And then DeAndre Ayton at 6,600. What? That's so cheap. But Bismack Biyombo and JaVale McGee are lurking. So I saw somebody in chat earlier say if if I could ask Bismack Biyombo a question, what would it be? I have no idea what it would be. But what's it like being tall? I don't know. Raj, as quick as possible, what do you like from this game?
From this game, honestly, I mean, against this Clippers team, it's not a team that I really want to play point guards against. So Chris Paul 8,800. I think I'll probably lead more towards Devin Booker over Chris Paul in this spot against the Clippers. The Clippers play this weird kind of trapping defense, so they're going to force the ball out of Chris Paul's hands as much as they can. So I think Booker at 8,400 is fine. DeAndre Ayton at 6,600. It's just such a cheap price tag. The minute, just 30, 27, 25 haven't been there. But whenever he sees 35 minutes, he's going to smash that price tag. So if you want to take a risk in tournaments, I don't mind that. And the other side, with the Clippers, I think playing a guy like Zubac, who I think they'll finally need his size against Ayton. So you give Zubac 30 minutes, he can get you 35 fantasy points.
They've been using Hardenstein and Rocco. No matter what, it just seems like Zubac 30 minutes becomes
even against Ayton. And even the back if they have size.
I mean, but it's just like we've seen so many scenarios where Zubac should get minutes, and he just doesn't. So like,
I hear you. Clippers should just be a fade then.
For the most part, Zubac is very efficient per minute, but yeah, I don't know. Josh, anything sticking out on PrizePicks for me?
Well, yeah, one of my favorite props of the day just went up, and I knew I should have jumped on it earlier. But DeAndre Ayton 8.5 rebounds and went to 9 now. Not a whole point, but still, I would like to have that 9-point clearance, 9 rebound clearance. So that I really like. I like attacking the Clippers in the paint. And then Chris Paul, he's been sitting around 32, 34.5 PRA, going against his old team. He's at 30.5 PRA right now. So I could get on that, cover his points and his assists. I mean, he could get that done and not even in a full amount of minutes, 25 to 28 minutes.
All right. Lastly, I guess one question: 2K plugs and Sleazy. Do you guys have any favorites on PrizePicks? Sleazy says top 5 PrizePicks. So Josh, give me 3 PrizePicks that are on the top of your head right now that you're like, all right, I think these are going to be picks that I'm heavy on today.
Yeah, probably Trae Young 8.5 assists, LeVert 3.5 assists, and Ayton, which is I did have 8.5 rebounds, but now 9 rebounds.
All right, and we will trying to key in on some more picks. We're waiting on some news here. I gotta get you guys out of here because I gotta get in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. I'll be in the voice chat next couple hours. You guys want to be part of that? Go to RunDFS.com. Get yourself signed up, man. Sorry about the technical difficulties today, everyone. Sorry about running over this deep over on time. I appreciate those of you guys that stuck here before running off. But we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, it should be normal time, 3 p.m. Eastern for the DFS show, 2 p.m. for the prop show. And then hopefully I can fix this Discord issue. But I love you guys. I appreciate making part of my day be part of your day. I hope you crush it tonight. Twitter.com/Gundacker. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.
See y'all in chat.